the series for Phase 2. They need to get to pick up the win.
And for Phase 2, Hanamura, particularly in NA, has been it's been a zany map, is what I would say. There's been a new history, so to speak, of teams trying wild and crazy things. Not NRG, though. NRG is just going to play this by the book. Phase 2, I kind of doubt that they're going to stand that. No, they're just going 3-3 as well.
And what's going to be important to watch here is the entry for Phase 2. And if NRG decides to fight them early, they probably will, because remember, Stand 1 is on this Winston. He's just going to be getting that tase damage on those corners, building up that primal as Phase 2 rotates.
And every time it's going to be Stand 1. Diving in, getting damage, getting out before he can get bursted. But he gets really low here. On the wire, Stand 1 going to fall. Again, the immortal Stand 1.
I mean, they could have chased it. Pico was there firing into Stand 1 on the corner, but had to choose between, do I go for the frag on Stand 1 and lose my mech, or do I leave and keep my life?
I feel like losing the mech might have been worth there just based on the fact that it takes a while to get back here as Faz gets picked off. Now, Stand 1 gonna dive in. Again, getting chunked pretty low, but the support is there for him, and this is looking very, very strong for NRG.
So much damage for NRG, and also they have that extra sustain considering that Pooks is still alive. Stagger coming out into Pico. Well, it could have been a lot longer Stagger, but they decide to kill Pico before they get to the edge. And now NRG in a great position. They already have combo. Kevster has been raining in right clicks from that high ground, doing so much damage.
And not only that, but Stand 1 also very likely to get Primal Rage on his next dive in. A bubble should give him enough to get that last 20%. So this fight, probably not ideal for Phase 2. I mean, for them, they just want to drain as much as possible. Graviton, though, going to be coming in. You look towards Smex. Smex hasn't even used Bomb yet because he figures he doesn't need to. NRG off the grab alone, just dominating Phase 2. And you know why? You look at Phase 2, they know support ults they could actually use to mitigate that.
No support ults at all. This next fight, they're being in a pretty okay position. They're going to have that double support ult very soon. They'll have their combo soon. And really what's good for them is since Kevster used that grab, there isn't a combo for NRG, but they really need to worry about Smex's bomb still. They're going to be moving through a trope, and Stand 1's Primal can move a lot of those barriers, can displace barriers. It's
a classic part where Smex is going to throw out the self-destruct, and Stand 1's just going to hope to boop someone in a way that they end up getting hit by it. And it's actually pretty hard to avoid. NRG, they open up with the rally. Stand 1 is going to let himself get under pressure, then Primal. Phase 2, they decide to go in, barrier out, they catch Pooks early. NRG under the gun to somehow bring this back, and they're not using a whole lot. They've used the Transcendence, but Smex,
this is a great engage actually for Phase 2. Duplicate is able to walk all the way into the high ground from that rally. Shatter Pooks, deny him getting that barrier, deny him being in the fight. The Trans comes out late when they picked off Smex. The Primal's on point. They need to keep Nishik alive.
Stand 1 uses the Primal very, very late into the fight. We thought we'd see the early self-destruct Primal. Not quite. Instead, grab out her from Kevster. Fall through. Not going to be there. Phase 2 still completely okay. And for NRG now, it really comes down to how long can they delay.
Onyx has to live.
It's going to be very hard for them to
Onyx needs to
stay
live.
in.
He is. Okay, there's King dropping the rally, keeping everyone alive on the point. It's going to be cleanup now for Phase 2. They use that combo very late in the fight, allowing them to pick up despite the death of Nishik. And that entry was... I don't think NRG understood just what sort of danger they're in, because Duplicate was able to walk up the high ground to get that shatter onto Pook so early. So now, Phase 2, having the point, plenty of time left in the bank. They'll have some ults for second as well.
It was also just weird to me because we've been talking about aggression, how NRG's been aggressive. Watching NRG just hold on there and not immediately invest with Primal and Self-Destruct was just odd. And when they do eventually use Primal, it's that point where it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, there was a very weird choice to hold back. We see Duplicate dropping a great shadow on high ground. He gets booped off, but they still get the frag onto east side of theirs. There's going to be NRG just moving forward, trying to back off, but the point presence.
He's very much split here. Phase 2 in general split. They drop the barrier, but they're not in a great spot to actually commit off of it. NRG was really far back. Graviton now going to be invested. Transcendence for Phase 2, going to mitigate the worst of it. Smex with the bomb, not getting anything with that. And Phase 2 now, pick off after pick off. That early shatter now leading to something good for Phase 2 as they start getting more control on the point.
And Stand 1 was picked up while that grab was out for Kevster, meaning there was no easy way to remove the shield. There was no way to move Duplicate shield, and then they set up their own grab and return. That's going to be clean up an extremely fast time for Phase 2. They had, I mean, honestly, for there, the highlight from you, Duplicate. Duplicate was looking so good on that offense.
Yeah, you talk about the shatter back to point A and then has another shatter for point B where even getting booped off, even with a decent response to get him out of their face, it wasn't enough to save Ezire, who's just stuck on the ground and dispatched. And that early Brigida pickoff gives Phase 2 enough time to move over. And the interesting thing for that, too, that was even after Phase 2 probably barriered a little bit too early there. It could have been even more decisive if that was a bit better timed.
Still, Phase 2 have to be happy with the time they have. Nearly 4 minutes in the bank, 3:55. NRG now moving to their offense. Onyx looking a lot stronger as well. I mean, we talked about some of the disparities I saw. I didn't think there was huge, but the backlines and also Onyx wasn't necessarily an incredibly standout player for Phase 2 in their last Contender season. And Kevster is he's looked pretty solid so far in the Zarya role. So it's good to see him having a little bit better grabs, setting up those a little bit better. Now NRG getting ready to do their own offense.
We'll see if this is going to be for real here. I mean, Stand 1, I think, just going to be using the Sombra, the Scout. Kevster, not someone that's adverse to playing Widow, but I'd be surprised if it came out. Meanwhile, for Phase 2, part of the reason why you see NRG doing scouting the way that they're likely going to be doing the Stand 1 here is that you don't know what sort of wackiness you're going to run into.
Well, Phase 2 looking like they're going to be running the double slow healer. The Ana's in. No Lucio on the field, also having King on the Ashe. Pika on the Mei. Pika definitely loves to go to Mei. Very, someone that tries to get onto that flex pretty often. But the problem is I'm interested to see how the Mei works out. Realistically, you're going to be using the Mei in the sort of diva role where you're not looking to contest choke as much. You're looking to counter dive for your backline.
NRG, after scouting this, should go back to spawn and swap to something full dive. Punish Phase 2 for running two healers that are very immobile. And yeah, as we say full dive, it's a blast from the past. Genji Tracer.
That's stage 3. This is some stage 3 Overwatch League 2018 I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, this is the appropriate response to what Phase 2 is running. 2 immobile heroes in the back and a Mei. No, you don't want to run it with 3-3. That'd be suicide.
Really, NRG's goal right now is not actually to set up the dive early. It's to pressure the point and then set up the dive. But King gets Byram as he's trying to enter.
And that is the scary power of Ashe. You don't really realize it because of how good barriers are, but when you get a situation where Ashe has room to work with, she is one of the deadliest hero kits in the game.
Hook's actually deciding to swap onto Lucio rather than that Mercy. Kind of looking to use that speed to get Byram in. Realistically, I don't think NRG's backline have to be committing into the point early. You're looking for your front line to pressure, and then once Phase 2 are a little bit spread, you look for the engage. But it looks like actually they're going to go for the dive.
NRG's going, do we all remember how to play this? Yeah, I think we're okay. A little bit of long coordination and planning going here as Phase 2. They're holding this very, very far back and still contesting the point to a degree, so this is buying them a lot of time, if nothing else.
Stand 1 could be a lot more aggressive here.
Oh,
there's going to pick up King. A lot of damage down, going to trade, but Izar gets fast. There's so many dash resets happening in this hallway. He should be able to Nishik.
Genji, dash resets coming in. This hero's still a thing in the game. Genji going, I still exist. Able to clean up the fight in a way that few heroes can. NRG going to get point A, and we might see the...
I think they stay. I think they're looking to stay considering they're close to the Blade, and then they swap after.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Ana behind it, but Blade itself can be pretty strong in this situation.
I mean, I've seen a lot of tanks where you actually commit your tanks with the dive, and they take the back, because we see that King is now on that Brigida, looking to deny the value. Izar is going to get out of the Blade. Actually, they have Kevster on the Zarya instead, looking for the bubble.
Early wall is out. Izar is taking a lot of damage early on, but it's not enough to stop him from slicing down Faz. One Dragon Blade kill to start things out. NRG trying to stabilize. They lose Kevster as they move in, and things are getting very chilly on the point. Pika just dropping the Blizzard, icing out Stand 1, and that's going to be enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even only getting Faz in that fight, I mean, it's a good pick, but they just weren't able to win with the spawn disadvantage considering Kevster went out early. Faz is coming back. NRG will be making that swap. Izar going back to the Brigida. However, still plenty of time left for NRG to equalize or even get it better.
I have to ask you here, is this a case where the Q key is being valued over the H key for NRG with Stand 1 still staying on the Winston?
I think that it's a tough. I think that it's not a bad idea to utilize Stand 1 here because you can have Stand 1 go to the point, force them to rotate, and then when they come down, you can use the primal. You see Stand 1's on the point. He almost has a tick already. Are they going to give up a tick? No. And now the back from Phase 2, but as King picks up Pooks.
And of course, Pook's not having enough cover fire. And Stand 1 can't even primal. But also the part of it is that with Pooks being down, maybe he didn't want to use it there. But the difference is it is going to commit him to the Winston for another push.
The NRG have the right idea here. And also, look at this chase from Phase 2. They're actually be catching these stagger kills onto NRG. But as long as Pika is on Mei, Stand 1 with the primal is a much bigger force on point because there isn't much that can burn him when he's ready to commit there. There is no D.Va that is a prime Winston burner. D.Va's just someone that hard counters Winston. But Stand 1 can go to the point, pressure. NRG really have to be worried about not losing anyone on the entry.
It's very true. I mean, I think the key here is that you want stand one to do enough disruption on the point that you force people down.
They need to be waiting. They
in.
need to be waiting for the rotation for phase 2 to fall to point and then going in.
And stand one is going to be eating a little bit of poke damage here, dropping the bubble as late as possible.
Baz doing a great job here, making sure he's not actually fighting, he's just contesting.
Yeah, the goal there is to contest. Stand one going to dive in, Primal Rage to make it safe. And now it's disruption, but phase 2 able to get back. They hold back behind the wall. Peek under pressure, can't get the Blizzard down in time. Stand one is going to goop and stomp him from the other side. And off of that, NRG, they decide we want to go. They use the barrier. Phase 2 transcending about the same time. Pika, though, going to be coming out here at the Blizzard shortly. A lot of shield pressure down. King out of the fight. Duplicate in real danger here. Pika coming back in. And again, it's going to get pretty icy here in the point. NRG having to rotate around the backside, but they're still totally okay here, even the Smek's falling.
This is the grab late from Kevster, the beat out for Faz, but only able to get himself. This is just cleanup for NRG. Their time's going to be worse, but as long as they control the point, they clean up Duplicate fast enough. Don't let him get value from the Shatter. 2 down.
Duplicate dropping the Shatter, able to get one off of it, but it's still a whole lot of NRG on the point. Stand one, another Primal, and he's going to be able to control the doors as people try and go in. Just jumps on Nishik one more time, and this should be NRG's fight, but phase 2 getting a lot of delay towards the end.
It should be. The Bastion is out. Now NRG is dealing with the stagger kills more. Here comes Duplicate looking for the charge, gets the pin, going off the map. Not off the map, but off the point. They clean it up.
And
now,
into the iris.
Good news for phase 2. They set a much quicker time here so far. But on Assault, we have seen teams pull things back with a much better second round.
The time gap isn't even that significant. It's a big time gap for sure, almost a minute. Actually, a little over a minute. But it's still not. There's still so much time left in the bank for both where they can make things happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're NRG, you're still feeling pretty okay about this. For phase 2, you're happy that you have the edge, but this certainly is not over one way or another by any stretch of the imagination. And NRG now, they've already gotten a taste of what phase 2 likes doing on the defense, and because their time is less, they get to immediately go again, so they might not be suffering the entire setup where they have to change immediately. But to that same note, phase 2, they don't have to run the same defense again, right? And from the looks of it right now, I don't think they are.
No, it looks like they're not going to run the same defense. I mean, their first defense wasn't really that successful. It was like okay, but definitely wasn't extremely successful where it warranted in my eyes running it again, especially if NRG are expecting it.
Well, I would disagree only in the sense here, the expecting it part is probably why you do swap, but I think that their defense bought a lot of time. NRG took a long time to figure it out. There's just no guarantee that that would be the case, I guess, on a second go.
NRG now, moving out. Stand one going to be on the Sombra, just looking for this scout from the doors. Phase 2 on the defense. Running Duplicate on the Rhine, no Winston, so they won't be contesting on those rotations. They're rather looking to take the fight at choke.
Duplicate just creeping there to the side. Now moving directly up, and they're taking the fight at the choke, as you say. They're not giving NRG a free entry.
When you're running Rhine, you really want to control this choke, control the point. You can't really, like we talked about, contest the rotations nearly as much. Bubble used early for NRG, then the counter for phase 2. Both teams just backing up, resetting, waiting for those cooldowns to come back up.
It's kind of the gentleman's agreement there of, well, sorry, bubbles are down. We're going to wait. We'll go one more time. Bubble going on Stand 1 after he gets pretty deep in the phase 2 territory. Stand 1, though, getting very low. And again, he's not finished off. Stand 1 able to be healed back up. Phase 2 loses the opportunity to take a big edge. And Duplicate super low because his shield is broken. Getting low, but also going to get healed up. NRG taking the opportunity to get more presence on the point. One tick already there's Kempster, though, caught out on rotation, but so is Onyx. Both teams down. Zarya's, Zenyatta investing in Transcendence here for NRG, and off that early Transcendence, they clean up the fight.
Having to invest 2 ults there. NRG investing both the Transcendence and the Shatter. Phase 2 are going to have those ults up in return for second. So they're not feeling unconfident. Not a bad first hold there. And they have the ult advantage moving in for the second hold.
If NRG, do you go straight to point, or do you let Kevster get grab?
You realistically, I mean, Kevster will get grabbed if you go to point as long as you survive the entry. He's 77%. Going high ground doesn't get you grab any faster necessarily.
NRG, they are going to be deciding to go for high ground here. Or at least they're looking like that. They can always change up and swap around. Smeks going around the flank, and they do end up taking a straight to point. Kevster, the one-to-one. Nishik's gone! Pooks able to find him, gets out of the danger zone here. Kevster getting very close to a grab. Phase 2, deciding to dive in. Shatter, though, in from NRG, knocks Duplicate right to the ground. King gonna fall right after. Barrier now invested, and NRG, the grab being more cleanup for them than anything else. Their second attack here in the point B, much more successful than their first.
That was such an incredible pickoff there for Pooks. He recognizes that Nishik is low, drops from the high ground, goes for the snipe, the assassin Lucio. Now it is phase 2 looking for the contest. Onyx coming back with a grab but can't touch in time. Stand 1 shatter also so instrumental there. You see Duplicate drop it, trying to keep his team alive after Nishik falls. The barrier is out, but Stand 1 just keeps Duplicate on the ground with the counter shatter. Huge play from Pooks there to be the assassin Lucio drop from the high ground.
And now you take a look at this. I think NRG has completely equalized this game where phase 2, could they still have a quicker time after another round? Yes. Is it super likely? Probably not. I think for NRG, they have to really like their positioning here as we go into another round.
NRG getting ready to their second defense of the map here, phase 2 on the offense. I imagine we're going to see both teams play pretty standard what we saw them play in the previous mirror matchup, where Stand 1 is playing this Winston on defense, contesting on those rotations for phase 2. And phase 2 going to be running that Reinhardt.
You know, I'm looking at that Murloc right now and thinking, Ramen is pretty good. That's really all I'm looking at right now. All my analytical thoughts just went away. It has been a while since we've had ramen. This is
the deep minds here of esports. The deep dive, finding the crazy thoughts below the surface of ZP's brain.
It turns out Primal needs like food. Just they go above all else.
I look at ramen real good.
I just immediately
I
immediately lose 100 IQ right then and there.
The caveman brain just coming into play right there. NRG on the defense here, getting ready for phase 2 to enter. Watch them move in.
Phase 2 setting up here. NRG giving them a little bit of room. Stand 1 diving in, looking for early poke off the shield. And it's not too bad, 34%, but he needs to get out. It's a lot worse. He can't jump out in the nick of time. They do get King off of it, so still winnable for NRG, but they definitely want Stand 1 to get out of there.
Phase 2, they had to make just a move here. They were sitting in choke, letting Duplicate's barrier take a huge beating. They didn't move. They didn't go anywhere after Stand 1's presence. With Stand 1 not being there, though, I think they should just take the rotation directly to point. They can win the fight on point, go to point.
Well, they're doing just that, taking well advantage. Phase 2 moving out to point, and NRG, now they just need a delay. Play with the fact that you have a little bit of room to give, and oh, they find Nishik on the offhand side. It's Stand 1 back into the fight, and he comes back with a vengeance.
Stand 1 was back, and he hit them with the big flank as well. He's coming through the defender's choke, and actually just lands on top of Nishik as they're rotating, as they're onto the point. There wasn't enough peel there for phase 2 onto their back line.
And not only does Stand 1 come in and surprise Nishik, but he has Primal for the next fight.
Primal going to be very big. Smek's about to have that bomb. However, even more importantly, the combo for NRG.
Stand 1 just going to casually go for it. And again,
look at Nishik.
Who's helping him? Nishik just getting isolated. He's going the ride that he never wanted to be on, and he's just taken down. Stand 1 out with a vengeance, just isolating Nishik. And again, this should win NRG the fight.
It just can't happen.
No.
That just can't be where, like, you need to be having, where is King? Making sure that Nishik survives. Where's Faz giving the peel to Nishik? Where's anyone? The solo Winston in the 3-3 should not be able to pressure this in.
I mean, we were talking about me having one track in mind earlier when we saw the ROM, and I think Nishik's one track thought there was team with multiple question marks beside it.
Really, phase 2 have to be getting a lot better peel for Nishik, because you just can't be letting this get picked early against a solo Winston.
No, but it was a very good play from Stand 1. Recognized the opportunity.
What is phase 2 doing? Make a move. They rally. They're coming high ground.
Well, they rally, but they're going right into Spex's bomb. Spex's bomb applying pressure. They go with the grab, bomb of their own, bomb right to the back. Not going to connect. NRG still in a good spot here. They have used both support ults, both flare. They're not going to have much towards the latter end of the fight, but Duplicate is down. Stand 1 still very much in. He could build another Primal here in the middle of the fight. It's looking pretty good. He's getting good cleave damage as it's going on. And again, he goes for Nishik.
Wow, Nishik getting a little bullied. The crux here for phase 2 is going to be Onyx. If Onyx is able to stay alive, if King can keep him alive in this fight, phase 2 can still win.
Phase 2 fighting tooth and nail right now. NRG, though, still with the ability to stay in the fight. Byron gets all he needs to transcend. He does! Immediately transcends under pressure. He was about to fall, built the Transcendence in the nick of time, let NRG dive back on the duplicate. Phase 2, down to a minute.
Phase 2 had control of the point. They have a high charge Zarya. Faz is with them, and they just go chase frags outside rather than getting point control, rather than getting ticks, giving Onyx even more value since he was going to have that grab advantage, but he doesn't have any more. Kevster's back. Phase 2 back in.
Graviton out here early from Phase 2. They isolate Kevster immediately.
Wow, Kevster.
And Stam1 can't even primal in time. That was so much pain coming up from the train of members there in Phase 2.
The focus on Kevster has been insane so far. We've seen the focus on Nishik from stand 1, but the focus on Kevster, he gets shattered the previous fight. He comes back so close to grab, gets solo grabbed by Onyx.
Yeah,
Cleaned up again.
Kevster is getting mugged so hard here that it's making you wonder if he owes someone money on Phase 2. It has been extreme prejudice.
Doing his best respawn timer cosplay.
Yeah.
Get ready to come back. And now Phase 2, they're entering the point. They don't have the combo, though. They invested it. They have to make a choice if they stay too long in this fight, because this is realistically last fight scenario for Phase 2.
Phase 2 is still in a really tough spot.
I think they have to make this is last fight.
Yeah, it's 100% last fight. And NRG, they're going to drain the clock really all the way to the end. In Phase 2, they need to make a decisive move here. They certainly have the ability to with the ult.
Nishik getting pressured again. They forced the trance so early. It just can't happen like that, CP.
He is going to have nightmares of stand 1, who's always jumping in. He's going for him again. The power range is up. It's on camera. He's going to knock him off the map. He does. Nishik gone. Stand 1 continuing to beat him, to pummel him. The Zenyatta is out, and NRG in a very good spot here on Hanamura. Duplicate isolated it down. Overtime ticking away.
That's it. That's map. It's done.
Yeah, that's NRG going to be taking Hanamura and thus also taking the series, where all I'm going to remember from the series is just the absolute beatings dished out to Nishik by stand 1.
They just can't have a Winston get this much value. Be forcing trance. They needed to keep the trance alive. Needed to keep it longer in the fight for Phase 2. Can't be forced that early. Nishik can't be going down. The peel. Honestly, the peel for Nishik was just so incredibly lacking. Winston cannot get this much value on your Zen in 3-3.
No, not in the least. And I don't even blame Nishik towards the end.
No,
there
I mean, it's not his fault. You have three other heroes on. You have every hero in that comp can help you.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't. There was no help.
Well, again, it comes down to the fact that over and over again, what do we see is that stand 1 goes on him and he doesn't get help. So what happens towards the very end of the fight? Stand 1 just kind of roughly like stomps the ground and he goes, "I'm transcending, I'm out." And then stand 1 still chases him down.
It was just a rough time for Nishik there. That will be the end of the series for Phase 2. They can't hope to get a win anymore. It's 3-0 for NRG. They can, however, still get a map win. And if they can get one map, just one map, then maybe there's hope yet, because they've had some close series during this, or they've had some close maps during the series. But so far, it hasn't shown that they can hang necessarily with the big dogs just yet, with the stronger teams.
No, not quite. And also, I just wonder how much this weakness is going to be exploited here, because if you're stand 1, you know, your dopamine is firing right now. You're going, this Zenyatta, this has been a great target repeatedly. As we look at map 4, if I'm NRG, I continue to exploit the fact that supports are not getting helped right now on Phase 2.
I mean, it's very likely that you can see that opening and continue to abuse it. However, I think for Hanamura, it's really enables that in a lot of ways because of these entries for assault maps, especially for Hanamura in particular, where you're moving from all these different choke points that also have high ground differentials. Stand 1 on Winston was able to get a lot of value as Winston onto the backline of Michigan. It's a little bit harder on a lot of other maps to really get such a good engage.
It definitely is, but now we're going to be heading into Rialto, where again, the series has been decided, but map score has always been important, whether it be Overwatch League or here in Contenders. There's so many instances where it does decide who ends up going to playoffs later in the season. So there's still certainly quite a bit for Phase 2 to fight for here.
Waiting, I should say, for both teams to prepare to get out. I'm gonna be pretty certain here and say that both teams will run the Reinhardt mirror, the Reinhardt 3-3 mirror here, because Reinhardt is just so strong on Rialto. Throughout every point, Reinhardt is so incredibly strong. I don't think we'll see Winston. I doubt we'll see very other different comps either, because Rialto is so focused, so tunneled, that having that death ball comp is very strong.
Yeah, I mean, also for NRG, you've won the series. You absolutely don't need to show anything else.
I don't think NRG will ever swap unless they are made to, because they are just extremely confident and comfortable on 3-3.
Unless Stand 1 gets a little bit more bloodthirsty and goes, guys, just let me go Winston one more time. Nishik is still in the game. I haven't made him quit yet.
Phase 2 moving here with the offense. Just a little bit of poke for both teams. You see Ezar actually holding on this high ground. Likely going to look for the engage. Drop off. Nope. Gets booped by Pika.
NRG just trying to hold the front line here. Stand 1 again under heavy pressure, and this time going the fall, but not without Duplicate falling in turn. So both teams down Reinhardt's here.
But Kevster, he's stuck here on Zarya Island. Pika booping him up, keeping him in the air, but he just gets into the opposite high ground. Pika just like a seal with a bouncy ball, just moves him over. It's Sea World. Just moves him to the next high ground.
And he's not getting a treat even. There's no fish being thrown into his mouth there. Just Kevster living. What a world.
Now, phase 2 still looking to engage. Duplicate is back. Stand 1 is back for both teams. However, Byron very far ahead in the Transat.
Duplicate getting chunked down as soon as he makes his triumphant return. Here comes Stand 1. His theme music is playing. Nishik shivering in the corner. And NRG getting pretty good positioning back.
Very good positioning. They had a lot of shield presence on the Duplicate barrier there broken. Here comes the engage with the beat from Faz.
Very good grab from Kevster. Again, pull them all together. Transcendence being used by phase 2, trying to buy time. Barrier already invested, so it's a slight layering as Stand 1 drops the hammer, knocking down 3. NRG, they use the barrier, trying to mitigate the most of that self-destruct. Stand 1 unable to live, and it's still a back and forth fight, and oh, there's Duplicate dropping the hammer. Gonna be getting Brigida at the very least, but also Smex.
That's all you need to finish the fight there. However, NRG could potentially still contest. They have 4 people alive. The spawn door is extremely close, but actually Onyx getting the snipe onto Byram. That means NRG will not have the damage, will not have the sustain they need to fight first.
That's a big boon for phase 2. It's so often that you get, oh, wait.
No, they can't touch. Okay.
Well, they thought they could.
They definitely thought they could, and now in return, they've committed to a fight where they don't have Byram. Actually, no, Byram gets the spawn still, but it's just going to be cleanup for phase 2.
This is a really ugly mistake by NRG, where if they had bought extra time, I don't think it would have been really worth in that case either, but it makes more sense. Now they don't buy time, and they just feed phase 2. They give them the hardiest
They had to
they've
make
had.
a choice of getting out and setting up for a proper engagement or just dying on point there, and they chose the in-between where they don't have a proper engagement and they don't really die on point, so they didn't get a lot of extra time value out of it.
Anything but ideal for NRG as phase 2 now getting a bit of momentum here on point B.
Phase 2 have their combo up, ready to go. Pooks doesn't have the barrier, so you can't double support on the side of NRG if you want to stay alive. So now, phase 2, just looking for the gauge. Both teams trying to see if they're going to set up the Graviton.
Onyx looking for it here, and instead it's going to be Kevster striking first. Force up Transcendence immediately. Stand 1, grab the shatter, and the grab out. Smex grabbing it very early in the fight, drops the self-destruct right after. Duplicate gone, and it's not the crazy flashy fight, but it's good enough for NRG. They're going to get the pickoffs towards the very end, and they slowly snowball it in their favor.
Smex doing the hero plays there. They didn't have combo for Kevster's grab, so they use it, get the support ult out. Stand 1 tries to get the shatter and doesn't, but Smex eats Onyx's grab, gets a solid self-destruct. So well played from Smex.
Speaking of Kevster and grabs, he's at 85%.
He is. He's moving them incredibly fast. I think as the series has gone on, it's become increasingly apparent that Kevster, when he's not getting hard focus, Kevster is outbuilding Onyx.
Yeah, when he's not having like all of phase 2 just run over and punch him in the gut, he's still a pretty good Zarya as it turns out. Ezar, open with the rally here. Kevster, Graviton out, built once more, and the grab, it just sets things up so well as Duplicate just decides, you know what, it's time for a swim.
Phase 2 resetting, and they're becoming close to their own grab combo very soon. However, NRG still in a very good position, coming up on double support ult, have other tank ults coming up, and holding the high ground, meaning they can sort of look for the engage here. Because of this bridge as well, Pooks is likely going to be looking for Boops.
One would have to think, and NRG, I mean, we talk about the importance of aggressiveness. They've been taking the fight to phase 2 pretty much every time. They do have to give Onyx a little bit of respect to the grab here. Must Smex forces Teats again, and Stand 1 doing a ton of damage here in the corner, dropping the shatter, and really making things tough for phase 2. The barrier and keep phase 2 reasonably alive. Pika investing the self-destruct right into the middle, takes down 2, and that is what phase 2 needed in this close range situation.
Great bomb from Pika, just throwing it into the back, trying to open up the space for phase 2, get in through the door. Dan 1 was holding it so quickly, and then since there was no shield there for the back line of NRG, picks up 2.
Here's the scary thing though. NRG can likely get back here, and look at Kevster, look at him.
I've looked at Kevster. He does have another grab. Onyx, a grab of his own, but no combo. While the combo will be up for NRG, Nishik's trans going to be so important here.
Well, Graviton's built up. Smex waiting in the wings. Graviton coming out here first from phase 2. Smex waiting for the self-destruct. Now gonna throw it up. Duplicate in a rough spot. Is he gonna be shielded off? He does get shielded, but there comes a shadow from stand 1. Heavy focus fire onto him. Gets shielded in the nick of time. Still alive as Duplicate falls.
Knows the portal up for phase 2, so this will be a fight win for NRG. The rally, giving them to sustain. Moving behind. Stand 1 shield. Counter shadow from Duplicate, definitely putting several members of NRG on the ground, but the focus fire, the sustain, too much for NRG.
Everyone go swimming.
That's just a reset right there. Just a classic reset play. However, now that the ults have been somewhat equalized, but something to note, Kevster, 75% to another grab.
This is ridiculous. Phase 2 was completely right to throw the kitchen sink at Kevster because this is what happens when you don't.
He's just outperforming Onyx at every metric right now.
I mean, it's not even close. It's such a huge gap between the two Zaryas in play right now that it's ridiculous. The ground time for Kevster is up. There's no support out here for phase 2. If he can bop this in and not get eaten, that's going to be the fight.
Are they even going to use it? There's going to be 2 down early.
Oh,
the back trying to happen for Faz. King invests the rally, but it's over. That's done.
Faz, you're not Cruz. Cut it out, man.
I mean, and also the card had a lot of distance to go. They would have to rely on NRG just not having eyes and not checking the card at all. They would have had a very far distance to travel.
10 seconds left. The one upside, Transcend should be up for this grab. It is. Grab Eden! Oh, it's Eden immediately. It's a nice, tasty stack for Pika. Smexo says, I don't need that grab. Here's the self-destruct. Well, actually, probably did need the grab. Solo grab on the Kevster where they deal with the problem.
They need point touch. They need point touch. They managed to get it.
They barely. You know, stand 1 though. Taking Diva off for the ride. The Discord Orb making the damage absolutely impressive. Pika just gonna get smacked in the face. Speaking of smacking, the hammer going right down to the pavement. Stand 1 getting another 2. And NRG, they're gonna hold off phase 2 here right in the middle of Rialto.
And that was an extremely telegraphed grab. I mean, Pika could tell that Kevster was looking for it. But it doesn't really matter when you're Kevster, considering how hard you're outbuilding Onyx at every opportunity. And the rest of the ults, the distance they had, the Traveler phase 2, just not there. They just, every disadvantage I should say, was on their side.
Well, also, I mean, with how quickly Kevster was building grabs there, I mean, Kevster losing a grab is like Bill Gates losing a $100 bill. It really did not matter for a lot of that, for just how quickly he was building grabs there. I mean, that was actually nuts, where you shouldn't have grab up every fight as Zarya. That it should not be a thing.
Well, it was.
It was.
That's what Kevster was doing. I saw it. Kevster was having quite a game so far, having quite a series overall. NRG now stopping that push, phase 2, not picking up second. Still have some cart they had some cart distance. They have a ability to hold, but it has to be a very good hold.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you get a point A hold here. Rialto is a map where that can happen, although I do feel like we've seen a shift in time as people have learned the map a little bit more, and I mean, part of it is also 3-3, but I do feel like you see less point A holds than you used to when Rialto was brand spanking new and people didn't really know how to assault a defense right at that final choke right on the cap point.
Learning the rotations and learning what flanks and how you can abuse the high ground as well are so important for the Rialto first push. And like you talked about, teams have just gotten much better at understanding how the map geometry affects what sort of push angles you can have.
So, NRG going to be coming out here on the attack, and we look to both teams wondering, is there going to be anything changed up? And the answer is no.
Really not. 3-3 mirror between both teams. NRG here on the offense. Phase 2 holding very close. Looks like they want to deny that cart presence as soon as possible.
A little bit of pressure here from Duplicate, but again, not very aggressive, letting NRG take the fight to them. Bubble already invested in Duplicate in a rough spot. Has to very vigorously back out here, and it's not enough. He's chased down, and who is it but Kevster? Right in the fray of things, picks up a double, and is already 52% to a grab.
Kevster, the monster. He's actually beating. I haven't seen, this is a crazy outbuild, honestly. Kevster is really, he just put up like an own training camp of how to hold left click on people.
Kevster's growing in power as the series goes on here. It's like secretly gathering the Infinity Stones.
And
we haven't noticed.
High ground. He's hitting these right moves as well. He'll probably have 70% or close to it when phase 2 is looking for this recontest.
Kevster's about to snap phase 2 out of existence here. 70% to a grab.
Kevster still sitting on high ground, just controlling high ground, trying to set those right clicks. Going to drop now. NRG looking for their fight. Stand 1 as well. Something to note, very far ahead in shatter advantage.
82%. Graviton coming in. The Transcendence will be up for it. Stand 1. looking for the shatter.
Stand one shatter gets denied.
It got interrupted. Yeah. And Stand 1 gets duplicate right off of it. Still, Ryan advantage. Graviton up here from Kevster, pulling them together, forcing out the Transcendence. But the problem for phase 2, you're still down.
Stand 1 has another shatter. He drops it. He's peaked Onyx on the ground. Onyx, 62% to the grab as Kevster is already 50% to another grab.
Onyx is getting lapped.
Please, someone. He's a Pokemon. We need to feed him. We need to train him. We need something happening here. Onyx's power must be increased.
We're seeing Kevster, the enormous Chad Gyarados, up against Onyx like very sad Magikarp is what we're seeing right now.
The fight is still ongoing. Duplicate was back, drops the shatter, bomb out. Kevster though, another grab. Nishik, another trance.
Graviton in here from Kevster. Nishik at least holding form with the Transcendence, able to give a little bit of hope here to phase 2 under incredibly wilting NRG pressure. In phase 2, actually fighting this back. Nishik has done a wonderful job here.
Nishik building those trances in time were so huge. Duplicate getting back, dropping that shatter, opening up the fight for phase 2. But my goodness, Kevster, 2 grabs already, 20% to his third, and Onyx is 3% to his second. So
Onyx is having memories of
the numbers. They need to be pumped up.
Onyx is just getting flashbacks playing Mario Kart against an older brother and just getting lapped where not even a blue shell is enough to bring it back. And he gets absolutely destroyed from afar. Taken down Byram on his own!
Wow.
This is just rough for Onyx. Early pick for NRG, and oh man, they're taking this at point. Another shatter for Stand 1, and the Transcendence for NRG just making it secure.
Duplicate still fighting on the point. We probably should not invest the shatter. Too many frags in the way of NRG. And something to note, what's incredible there is not only Onyx getting picked first, but the fact that Kevster has his grab now off the shatter of Stand 1, off that engage. So he is on his third grab, while Onyx is 30% to his second.
Actually ridiculous.
It's like watching Usain Bolt race against a high school track team. I've never seen such speed.
It's just like, why are we even here in this competition? It doesn't make any sense. He's too tall, he's too fast.
NRG taking the high ground here, getting ready for this engage. Phase 2 also looking to contest. Nishik close to that trans. Nishik has been a bright spot in terms of Transcendence building so far.
Well, Shatter coming in here from Duplicate, puts Stand 1 on the ground, the fall through not quite there. Graviton in from Kevster, and again, all the cleanup in the world they could want for NRG. They don't have a whole lot to go here.
No, they don't, and probably one of the only saving graces for phase 2 there was that they were able to hold on to both supportals for this engage. Kevster used the grab. So they have an opportunity, considering that Pooks will have beat, but Byram doesn't have trance yet. They have an opportunity to use the supportals aggressively.
The real question is, will Kevster get grab again before Onyx? It shouldn't happen, but you never know. Self-destruct coming up here for Smex. Right to the back line. Phase 2, having the barrier to deal with it. A Transcendence verb. This is going to push it, goes down. Byram takes him down before he can transcend, and that could be the map in totality. NRG about to finish this out 4-0.
Oh my, you know, the fight's over. Great bomb combo, great engage from NRG. They still have the trance in reserve. Phase 2 really not using those supports aggressively like they needed to, but Kevster was at 60% to his fourth grab, and Onyx was at 70% to his second.
That was
I mean, what are you even gonna say there? That's more than twice the speed.
There's really nothing to say. There's getting dominated, and then there's whatever that was.
It's done. It's not. This is adult material. Please remove it. Get it off my screen. We're done. That's the 4-0 for NRG. Outlapping in every possible way. Outlapping phase 2. Phase 2 looked okay at times, but they sort of fell apart there at the end. Their weakest points for sure are ult usage and aggression. They're just not up to speed comparatively.
Also, going back early in the series, protecting supports, where Nishik did get a little bit more protection on Rialto.
But there's also the 3-3 is the thing. Like, the real problem was that it was Hanamura, I think, and they weren't dealing with Stand 1's Winston play on Hanamura, particularly because it's so easy for you to abuse the backline, to catch the backline as Winston. And the problem is, I think they're just hard stuck in the mindset of 3-3, where your Zen almost never has to fear anything when you're playing against
Except other Zens.
Except other Zens. And so you almost lose the skill or forget the skill to peel, which is extremely important.
You just kind of yell back, "You okay back there?" You just hear Winston pounding it. It's like, no, not okay.
Not okay. It says both Onyx and Nishik during that series. Neither were okay.
Yeah, there was a big not okay.
Yeah.
But guys, we still have one more match here left today. NRG, of course, looking to surround the 4-0. but we'll have to see what happens in our next match. But it is going to be after a short break. We'll be back in a few moments.